Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I am Channie, and today we're watching Why Does Fentanyl Feel So Good by Kurzgesagt in a nutshell. I don't have many comments on this. Please don't do drugs. Oh, Kurzgesagt was getting like dragged on Twitter actually over the thumbnail and the title of the video because people, I guess, thought they changed and they're promoting drugs or whatever, but like what? Like why would they do that? They have always been like a informative educational channel. Like they wouldn't mention hard drugs in a promotional way. Like what the hell? So yeah, I just thought it was so weird that people try to make them seem like that. So yeah, let's see what the content of the video actually is. But like I said, I doubt they would like be out here promoting it. They're just most likely just spreading the information about it, which is always good. It's better to be informed than end up on the side, you know. Kurzgesagt has been doing a series about different kinds of drugs addiction lately. They've been styled after what addictions are like for addicts. Like I said, it's just they've always been informative with their content. I doubt that they are trying to do it in a harmful way, you know what I mean? So yeah, let's see the content.
Fentanyl must be amazing. Loads of people give up on everything that makes life good for it. Their loved ones, any other possessions or pursuits, homes, their dignity, and even their lives. But actually, fentanyl is garbage heroin, inferior in every single way but one. It's the perfect drug for dealers. And while we hear a lot about how deadly fentanyl is, many people it kills are not even fentanyl addicts. It's truly the dumbest drug to ruin your life for. Let's learn what fentanyl does to you, what it feels like, and why it's so much lamer than heroin. Pain and pleasure.
Whoa. Okay, I didn't know we are gonna have like a battle of drugs intro here, but okay. I'll let them cook. I'll let them cook. I'll let them cook.
Maybe the two most important forces that guide our survival are pain and pleasure. Pain may be the most visceral physical experience. A claw ripping your flesh, a bone cracking, rejection eating your soul. Pain can be scary and unbearable. It's the strongest signal our bodies have to make us avoid harm. Pleasure is what makes life good because it feels, well, amazing. Eating things that are sweet or high fat, having sex, or opening another booster pack with your friends. Anything that makes you feel pleasure makes you want to do it again. These two opposing forces guide you through life. Pain shouts,
A wild sentence out of context. Truly, truly.
"Stop, this is bad." Pleasure cheers, "More, do that again." But while they are opposites, they're also linked. Sometimes our body needs to end pain and create pleasure at the same time. After giving birth, pain gets toned down and the mother is showered in happy hormones so she can bond with the newborn child. During an intense hunt, the hunter forgets the physical exhaustion and minor injuries. Both are technically not great experiences, but need to be repeated for our survival. And nature invented a powerful
yin and
mechanism
yang.
to achieve this. The mighty opioid
The
receptor.
neuron.
It's like a keyhole on the neurons that control pain and pleasure. If activated, it reduces pain and how much you care about pain, and it creates pleasure and good feelings. The details are complex and not relevant for this story. What you need to know is that any molecule that can fit into an opioid receptor like a key is called an opioid. Opioids are extremely powerful, so when your body uses natural opioids like endorphins when you laugh, it releases only a tiny amount exactly where they're needed. So the effects are mild and localized. Your sprained ankle feels better, a painful memory subsides, you get a boost of happiness meeting an old friend. And now we're getting to drugs. Humans found opioids in nature like morphine and were quite taken by them. They got refined into a whole family of drugs used in hospitals and to relieve patients that are in immense pain. Codeine, OxyContin, Vicodin, and of course
The first one though, what was it called? Codeine. What is codeine? Why does it sound like lean? Is lean from codeine? Also, I used to not think that lean was a drug, but then I realized it is a drug. I just thought it was like a drink that people make that's like, I don't know, a little mix of drinks that they make. Then I realized it's actually drugs, and I was like, oh,
OxyContin, Vicodin, and of course heroin, and the worst
shut
of
up,
all,
house.
fentanyl.
Codeine is cough medicine? It is? Oh. I absolutely know what cough medicine is. Yes, yes. I guess I didn't know that term of it, though.
Before we can explain why fentanyl is the most garbage drug, we need to do something fun. Let's inject some heroin together.
Oh my
Ready?
god. Kurzgesagt. I don't know how to defend you. Ooh, I'll let you cook, but it's looking
Let's
tough.
inject some heroin together. Ready? The supernova of pleasure. Heroin rushes through your entire body and flips
This is
every
that
opioid
SpongeBob
receptor it
meme
finds.
where he
A rapid
floats.
cascade of things happens everywhere all at once. A symphony of intense sensations. Every cell regulating pleasure is now high. Without their control, floodgates of happy hormones open and fill you up top to bottom with pure bliss. A cup of coffee, a nectar of joy. This
And you
song you
think-
like, a celestial symphony. A cuddle,
What is that melody?
pure love from the center of the universe. Wherever you felt pain before, from wounds or aching joints or menstrual cramps or loneliness or self-loathing, it's gone now. You are simply unable to feel pain or care about it anymore. Like dimming the lights in a cozy room, your brain's alert system is put to sleep and you feel at ease, warm and serene. Any stress melts away and dissolves into a dreamlike haze. You're no longer worried or tense about anything. This peace even spreads to your essential organs, slowing your breath, soothing and slowing your intestines. Your chest rises and falls like the gentle
What
waves
the
of a
hell?
quiet shore. You're sailing a sea
Oh,
of
this is
calm.
such a pretty image though. Like the art and animation here is like it does feel very euphoric and serene as they're describing.
And happiness that feels perfect and eternal. The full load of a strong opioid like heroin for the very first time is one of the most amazing feelings humans can experience. For a few hours, you're in heaven. And this is exactly the problem. Your brain is not equipped to handle anything like it. You feel too good. But nothing lasts forever, and now you're in trouble. You just experienced the best feeling you ever felt. Your
And
brain's
now it's
reward
gone.
center is completely fried and can't comprehend what happened. If what you did felt this good, it has to be amazing for your survival, and you should do it again. Except you can never ever feel this good again. This will be your peak life moment forever. You may forever chase this feeling you had this very first time.
Oh, so like it's only like that intense and I guess feel good the first time. And then you're just after feeling that again, chasing that same level as the first time. I thought it was more of like you're in general just wanting to numb out all kinds of pain or misery maybe you're feeling or experiencing that makes you go back and like redo it, not that you're chasing that same level. I thought people were content regardless of, I guess, the level of pleasure they were feeling from it. They just wanted to feel whatever type of pleasure that would distract them from the hardships they're facing, if that makes sense.
And now you're back in the regular world, with your insecurities, where your knee hurts, regular tasting coffee, and having to work hard for happy hormones. Comparison is the thief of joy, and now you have your life to compare to a supernova of bliss. The indescribable feeling comes with a damage to your sense of life and self that may be irreparable. And this is not even the worst. Opioids are incredibly addictive, and the addiction among the worst you can have. The supernova of pain. Once you've taken opioids a few times, your brain has had enough. The cells controlling pain and pleasure are constantly high and drowsy, so it boosts them and makes them hyperactive. This happens very fast, sometimes after a few days of use. You've developed an opioid tolerance, toning down all the nice effects you're doing the drugs to achieve. To feel like before, you'll need way higher doses. Now, you're at a crossroads. Quit and have your system go back to normal fairly quickly, or keep going and take more. You take the wrong turn. Over the next few weeks, your brain keeps pushing back and you keep taking more. The effects are not quite what they were, but still mildly nice. Until one day, you can't get opioids and realize your body is now your enemy. Your systems are so hyperactive
Oh my
that they
God.
make you feel the opposite of what the drug
Oh,
was doing.
crazy.
Welcome to withdrawal. It all starts with a creeping unease. Instead of being euphoric and happy, nothing feels good anymore. Your coffee is tasteless, your favorite song lame, your loved ones distant. A storm of negative emotions shatters your sea of calm. Serenity is replaced by anxiety and angst, like something terrible is imminent. Your worries, insecurities, and
Heart
all the
withdrawals
fears
can
you
be
suppressed
really bad.
aren't just back, but
Extremely bad in
amplified
some
into an
cases.
existential crisis. You're so restless you can't sit still. Your heart is beating too fast. You shiver, sweat, hyperventilate. Your
Road to
pain
the
circuits are
overdose?
now oversensitive, so your bones and muscles ache and hurt for no reason. Old wounds, physical and mental, torture you. You have belly cramps and diarrhea and have to vomit. You're too agitated to rest. A war inside your body that you can't escape. And of course, there's the craving, screaming for you to make it stop. Your mind and body beg for a hit. You can be in this state for up to 2 weeks, or make it stop right away. Okay, so why not just take heroin forever and feel amazing always? The fun thing is that it doesn't work this way. You get tolerant to the nice effects like euphoria faster than to the bad ones like dangerously slow breathing. So it turns from touching the love center of the universe to mostly drowsy numbness and relief from withdrawal. Now you don't take opiates to get to heaven, but to avoid hell. You're in a prison of your mind and body, unable to connect with all the things that could actually make you feel good. Opioid addiction is brutal and extremely hard to escape. It should be pretty clear that you need to be extremely careful with any opioids, and if you have the chance to do it for fun, just don't. There's a very real risk that your life might just be over, and that you'll go through hell. Now that we've seen the heaven and hell of heroin, we can get to fentanyl, the garbage drug. Fentanyl is really garbage heroin. Everything we just described is true in different intensities for most opioids. They can be great, all of them can be hell. Heroin is just sort of the strongest, except it isn't. Fentanyl is around 50 times more potent than heroin, but that doesn't mean 50 times more amazing. Quite the opposite.
It's lethal.
Fentanyl is extremely good at crossing the blood-brain barrier, the firewall that protects your brain from harmful substances. It enters your brain so easily that you get from 0 to extremely high almost instantly. But just as fast as it enters, it leaves again. A heroin high can last 6 hours. One from fentanyl can fade in minutes. Fentanyl doesn't feel as good as heroin. Instead of a supernova of bliss, you mostly get the black hole of nodding away. But it comes with all the withdrawal symptoms. As a bonus, because fentanyl acts so quickly on your brain, it fries your reward center even more, making it even more addictive than heroin. And since you only need so little of it, it's super easy to overdose and die by accident. It's the deadliest illegal drug in US history by far. Between 2013 and 2023, it killed about 400,000 Americans.
Oh my goodness.
Fentanyl really is garbage heroin. Too dangerous, too intense, too addictive, too little fun. But then why are so many people taking it? Well, actually, nobody wants to. Fentanyl is not for users, it's for dealers. The house always wins. Fentanyl is a drug dealer's dream. One truckload could supply the entire US for 1 year. It's cheap to make and easy to smuggle. Heroin needs plants and fields and way more space.
Why is it easy to
So
smuggle
garbage
compared to the
fentanyl
others?
just took over the heroin supply. It might have seemed great for heroin addicts at first,
Flappy Bird
and then
mentioned
its trap snapped close. While some people may
2025.
seek out fentanyl specifically, several studies have found that most opioid users try to avoid it. Even worse, a lot of people who die from fentanyl don't take it willingly. Dealers want people
'cause it
to
was,
come
like,
back for
laced
their
or
product,
something?
and by adding a tiny trace of fentanyl to any drug,
yeah.
they can make it more addictive.
Leaving
Even if people don't
traces.
realize they took an opioid, they'll feel its effects. So dealers started to mix all kinds of drugs with fentanyl, turning the entire US drug market into a minefield where any trip can be your last. Because way too
Damn.
often, they put a bit too much in their mixes. In 2022, the combination with pills, often counterfeit oxycodone and benzodiazepines, accounted for about 20% of all
20%.
fentanyl deaths. In 2023, the US authorities seized 115 million pills with fentanyl. 70% contained a lethal dose. About half
70%
of
that?
fentanyl overdoses came where you expected the least. from stimulants like cocaine and meth. A lot of people may have taken these mixes on purpose, but many others just wanted to party and weren't ready for an opioid surprise. This is especially dangerous because if you've never tried opioids, you can overdose very easily. Fentanyl really has no upsides outside medical use. For dealers and cartels, it means easy profit. For users, it means a worse opioid addiction and a worse life. For people who would never ever try it, it can be a death sentence they didn't see coming. No matter how alluring they are, using opioids, even in safe settings, is playing with fire on the best of days. Fentanyl is a garbage drug that turns this fire into a raging furnace, increasing the risk of death massively. There's really only one conclusion to draw here. If you have the choice, don't step into the supernova of pleasure, because the danger of it turning into a supernova of pain is just too high. Getting to the root of an issue requires looking at all sides and thinking critically about the information we consume. In today's world, this can be difficult. This is why Ground News is such an important tool today. We believe in their mission and are proud to have them sponsor this video.
Indeed.
In a nutshell, the app and website combine the world's news in one place so we can do just that. Take the reporting on a US bill about harder punishments for fentanyl smugglers.
Absolutely stunning video.
Fewer than 75
really
sources worldwide reported on the story, but the headlines were quite different. You can follow along by scanning the QR code on screen. Some of them were critical and compared the policy to the war on drugs in the 1970s. Other sources praised the step and said it could end the crisis. And some media outlets asked if the smugglers are really the problem and if policymakers shouldn't focus on the problem of demand in the US itself. The interesting thing is that no government-funded sources are covering the topic. Reading the news this way lets you compare different sides and the context of a story in one place, so you can analyze the information for yourself. You get a sense of different perspectives and can hold yourself accountable to avoid information bubbles and confirmation bias. That's actually what drew us and our founder Philip to Ground News in the first place. Go to ground.news/KIN or scan the QR code to check it out. Our link saves you 40% off their unlimited access Vantage subscription. Just like us, Ground News is funded through their subscribers. By subscribing to them, you're accessing context that is now more important than ever, and you're also directly supporting our channel. Sign up through this QR code or our link below to get the tools to think for yourself. If you also want to support us, come join our Patreon flock. In return, you'll receive perks like your own Kurzgesagt burn, exclusive behind-the-scenes insights into our work, or sneak peeks at our next topics. Become a patron, become a part of Kurzgesagt.
Thumbnail and title alone is enough to get a side-eye. It is. So I do understand the backlash, but you also have to think of it from a perspective of them posting on YouTube and trying to get picked up by the algorithm. Sometimes to put in a good message, you have to have a clickbait title, a clickbait thumbnail, something controversial in a way to make people be like, huh? To intrigue them into clicking, and then you info dump and, set things straight. But so I do see both sides of this, and in the end I generally don't think their intent with this was to promote drugs at all, actually.
And help us provide trustworthy science content on the internet.
Oh, and okay, but yeah, like I was saying, their intent is not to promote drugs, even though they did. It was like a little tug war in the middle, because I was like, wait, well, why did you them talking about heroin, I don't know, the way they were comparing heroin with fent, I was like, yo, you're losing me. But I see where you're going, but it's like a very thin line we're trying to balance on right now. It's kind of crazy. But I'm glad in the end they did clarify that instead of being in this pleasure realm, it's just better to avoid it so you do not accidentally end up in the pain realm, you know what I mean? So in the end the message was clear, but I do also understand that it's one, a sensitive topic, two, it can come across weird with the thumbnail and the title and stuff. But yeah, in conclusion, guys, please stay away from drugs, any kind of drugs, even if you think, oh my god, it's just a little something light, nothing crazy. These drug dealers care about profit the most, they would not care really about your life. They're just gonna supply you and dip. They don't need to know you. They don't need to know your life. They don't need to know anything about you, and they wouldn't care at the end of the day whatever happens to you. As they said, many of them do lace the drugs, so even if you don't know that's what you're taking, you never know what you're taking, you know? So it's just better to stay safe, stay away from that route. I like the way they covered how the addiction worked, because I think I had the wrong idea of how it worked, so I'm glad they explained it in a clearer way for me to understand how that works. But yeah, again, informative video. It was a little risky, we will admit to that, but yeah, I generally don't think Kurzgesagt's intentions are ever to cause harm. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, YouTube!